If you haven't noticed by now, a handful of NHL teams have rebranded, and I want to go over them and give my thoughts. Play the intro. I will only be including full rebrands, so just a jersey change like the San Jose Sharks and Philadelphia Flyers won't be included. I'm talking full rebrand, with new logos, new jerseys, and, if necessary, new colors. With that out of the way, let's begin. The rebrand buzz really started near the end of the 23-24 season, when Aesthetics published a video announcing that both the Anaheim Ducks and Los Angeles Kings would be rebranding. For the Kings, it was a welcome change. For the Ducks, this was way overdue. The rebrands were a surprise since Fanatics, the new jersey designer for the NHL, told teams to hold off on rebrands for the 24-25 season. However, the Ducks and Kings had been planning this way before the jersey deal was inked. But 2 months before that video was released, news broke that the Arizona Coyotes were shut down and their operations were moving to Utah. And just because the team was moving, the Kachina brand was staying put, so a new name, logos, and brand needed to be developed. Let's go team by team for this one, starting with the new guys. When the first press release came out about the Coyotes moving to Utah, I remember seeing it say that the team would be called the Utah Hockey Club and wear jerseys with the word Utah. Fans grumbled about losing the Kachina for a team with no name, but owner Ryan Smith had a reason for it. On April 8th, Ryan Smith tweeted out a survey asking fans if Utah got an NHL team, what should it be called? I'll admit, I submitted a name. A month before the survey was tweeted, I made a concept for a team called the Salt Lake Rattlesnakes. I even designed a logo and color scheme. But I didn't think an NHL team in Utah would have happened that quickly. But what I later found out was they would not be the Salt Lake Rattlesnakes. 2 days later, Frank Cervelli reported that a deal was being made for Utah Jazz and Real Salt Lake owner Ryan Smith to buy the Coyotes and move them to Utah for the next season. More buzz floated around with reports that the NHL was planning 2 different schedules for the Coyotes, with one in Arizona and the other in Utah. Turmoil then hit. The Coyotes' social media accounts went cold. Fans continued to speculate. The day after the final Coyotes game was played, the NHL announced the establishment of a franchise in Utah. Now, considering that Utah doesn't have any former teams or historic brands that resonated with fans, they were starting from scratch. Some names from the survey sounded unique, like Yeti, Mammoth, and Swarm. And other names sounded silly, like Venom, Canyons, and Powder. The 5 names that were the most popular moved on. Those names were Yeti, Blizzard, Mammoth, Outlaws, Venom, and Hockey Club, because why not keep the boring Euro soccer-like name as well? On the ice, a set of branding was released. It felt like a lot for a brand that was only going to be used for 1 year. A roundel spelling out the team name and changing colors depending on the background. There was also this stripe logo with just Utah, a state logo, and this other striped logo with the full name. The colors were revealed with distinct names: Rock Black, Salt White, and Mountain Blue. We also got a digital mock-up jerseys that would be used for the first season. Basic stair-step text that spelled out Utah, similar to that of the New York Rangers. A black home jersey and a white road jersey. As boring as this was, it was all temporary while a new name was being voted on. We'll get back to Utah in a little bit. In January of 2024, I made a video where I ranked NHL logos, which you guys absolutely loved with no backlash. In said video, I said the Kings logo was the worst in the league, and my reasoning was the banner was unnecessary, the crown was shrunk, and they got rid of purple, making the color scheme bland. The rebrand was not going to have purple in the color scheme, but it would be a return to the Chevrolet-shaped Gretzky-era logo, albeit with some tweaks. The italicized Kings font was updated to become more bold and added a white shadow, but still kept the same action lines. The Los Angeles font was boldened more, making it easier to see. Instead of a silver outline, the border would change between black and white depending on the jersey. And finally, the crown took inspiration from the original crown when the team began in 1967. The uniforms are near copies as well. The only real difference is the numbers aren't locked inside the stripes. The silver also has a shinier texture, making the design pop more. Overall, I like the Kings rebrand. I like how they went back to the Gretzky era design. What I really like is how they updated the logo to match the modern era. The only thing I have to complain about is not having the crown itself as a shoulder patch logo, but that's a minor caveat. But this rebrand isn't fully done yet. The Kings might be releasing a third jersey in gray. There appears to be some credence, as this gray helmet was seen in the Kings locker room during the draft. All I hope is that they don't screw it up like the last time they released a gray jersey. Now let's take a drive down the 5 to talk about the other Southern California rebrand. While I have my distaste for the Kings banner logo, the Ducks logo was hated by just about everyone, except Ducks ownership and management. Both Anaheim fans and fans from other teams clamored to dump the WebD and use the Mighty Ducks logo. It didn't matter if it was in orange and black or purple and teal, although fans preferred the latter. But then, the same day that the brand new Fanatics jerseys launched, Anaheim released their new rebrand. It was just about what everyone wanted. The Disney Duck was back, but updated with bolder lines, orange recurved hockey sticks, and a menacing orange eye. When I first saw the orange eye, I was skeptical. Now I think it looks awesome. The new home jersey was orange as well, becoming the new primary color. The Ducks were embracing the orange. The WebD also got a redraw and fits better as an alternate logo and shoulder patch rather than the primary logo. Also, if you didn't notice, the tape forms a W on both sticks as a nod to Wild Wing, the Ducks mascot, who also got orange eyes. Now when I said the Ducks were embracing the orange, I wasn't kidding. That included orange helmets, pants, and gloves. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but it's grown on me. Kinda. I would prefer black helmets, pants, and gloves, but at least you can give Anaheim credit for being unique. Now if anyone's asking about a third jersey, we don't know. Nothing has been reported about the Ducks releasing a new alternate jersey anytime soon, and it would make sense to allow the new jerseys to sell to fans before adding an extra jersey. As the 24-25 season skated on, a few teams dropped hints at future rebrands. Utah continued to provide updates about the brand survey as the season progressed. The other two teams, the St. Louis Blues and Boston Bruins, revealed specialty jerseys with symbols that would become important later. The Bruins revealed a Centennial Game jersey with the same logo they used in their 100th anniversary season. The Blues Winter Classic jersey featured a redesigned blue note on the shoulder and would later have an STL ligature on the helmet. The Blues also used the STL ligature for scoreboard graphics when they hosted the Blackhawks in a February game in which both teams wore Winter Classic uniforms. Also, a Bruins jersey we've never seen leaked in an interview about how tariffs could affect NHL jersey production. Utah, meanwhile, continued the hunt for their new name. Yeti was the most popular and seemed to be the next name. Except the US Patent and Trademark Office disagreed. All because of the Yeti Cooler Company. Not the first time a tumbler has ruined hockey. Anyway, as Utah Yeti, or Utah Yetis, was denied due to trademark problems, the team narrowed down its final options. Only accessible to fans attending a few games, Utah allowed fans to vote on the name. There are also placeholder logos to give fans a visual of the new brand. The options were the Utah Mammoth, the Utah Hockey Club, and the Utah Wasatch. Wait, where did Wasatch come from? The Wasatch was a late entry. I have a theory that the name was created as a backup plan since the Yeti name fell through. But the fans despised it, so the team trashed it and replaced it with Outlaws. So while that was being decided, the hockey world soldiered on. Then the bombshell hit. April 14th, 2025. iStatics released the first jersey watch for 2025-26. Two teams were reported to be rebranding for the next season, the Bruins and Blues. And Utah, but we all knew they weren't keeping Hockey Club. Speaking of which, let's start with them. After the votes closed, things got quiet and fans started to get impatient. Then, out of nowhere, the team appeared to have jumped the gun as the YouTube handle changed from Utah Hockey Club to Utah Mammoth. That all but confirms that Mammoth won the vote and would be the permanent name. And of course, the day after I uploaded my video on the New Orleans Jazz, Utah made the announcement. One random Wednesday, I'm sitting in class bored on my computer when I see the announcement of the Utah Mammoth rebrand. So why Mammoth? What do they have to do with Utah? Well, Utah is home to numerous mammoth fossils. There's a giant replica of a mammoth skeleton at the Utah Natural History Museum, so it has ties to the state. The logo combines two of the prototype logos, the mammoth head and the mountain from the proposed Yeti logo. The logo is full of Easter eggs. A mountain is merged with the shape of the mammoth, and there's the state of Utah with the shadow forming an M for mammoth. The tusk also forms a U for Utah. I'm glad they only used one tusk because two tusks would have made it look janky. It's been a trend to fit letters into logos for new NHL teams. The Vegas Golden Knights with the V, the Seattle Kraken with the S, and the Utah Mammoth with the U and M. Some new alternate logos are designed as well, with a tweaked Utah font inside the state of Utah and a U with a tusk emerging out of it. The jerseys, surprisingly, keep the same stripes as last year. The home black has the Mammoth logo on the front and the Utah State logo on both shoulders. The home jersey looks nice, but then comes my biggest problem with the Mammoth rebrand. Why the hell does the road white have the Utah word mark? I don't care if it's italicized, the Mammoth logo should be on the front of both the home and away jersey. If they wanted to keep a jersey with the word Utah, they should have either kept the black jersey or saved it for a mountain blue alternate. Speaking of alternates, you might be wondering what they have planned for a third jersey. Well, a few things might answer that question. 1. This jersey was found on eBay. It's a Mammoth jersey that is real. It's officially licensed by Fanatics. It has the tag on the sleeve and in the collar. So was this made as a prototype then rejected? Also, there's speculation that Utah could host an outdoor game as early as 2027, so a special jersey would be required for that event. At least for now, Utah has a name and it's here to stay. So the Bruins did not have a good season last year. Jim Montgomery was made the scapegoat only to lead the Blues to the playoffs, and the Bees finished last in the Atlantic. But enough of that, let's talk about the rebrand. In late March, CBC published a story about how tariffs could affect NHL jerseys. Now, before any of you jam the comments with politics, this is a hockey video, so keep your political opinions and armchair tariff expertise to yourself. Anyway, the video shows B-roll of a factory worker producing Bruins jerseys. Except they aren't the home jerseys, and they aren't the Centennial Game jerseys, and they feature a bear on the shoulder that reads Bruins. So what are they? The Bruins had a rebrand in store, and it was carefully planned out in the past few seasons. In the 23-24 season, to celebrate their 100th anniversary, Boston wore completely different uniforms with a crest that combined elements of past logos and a less shiny, kinda pukey looking gold. Those were meant for one season. The next year, they went back to the current uniforms, but wore a special jersey. A jersey for what they called their Centennial Game, marking the 100th anniversary of their first ever game. The jerseys borrow more past elements and use the same crest, but with real yellow instead of puke gold. And with the leaked jersey, it became a matter of when it was revealed. On Monday, June 23rd, they revealed their new logo, or should I say logos. 2 days later, we got to see the new jerseys. Now I say logos because the Bruins have two different logos depending on the jersey. For the black home jersey, the B is gold. For the white road jersey, the B is black. The Bruins also have two new alternate logos. They're basically the same except for the words. On the home jersey, it says Bruins, but on the road jersey, it says Boston. Both use the same bear shape from the Bruins' 100th anniversary logo. Now my big complaint with this is why is the shoulder mark only for the left sleeve? It just bugs me. Even as the Bruins will probably be terrible this year, at least they will look good. Now on to the team that beat them in the 2019 Cup Final. I want to give a quick backstory about the Navy note. This note was created out of desperation. After Mike Keenan destroyed the Blues, fans had enough and walked away. The team realized in order to get the fans back, they had to make changes. A new third jersey became the new home jersey, accompanied by a royal blue version, both featuring a brand new blue note. Out went the red, St. Louis wordmark and round edges, in came sharper edges, and a navy blue outline. The primary logo color varied depending on the jersey. Navy for the blue jersey, royal blue for the white jersey. Jerseys would change, but the note remained the same. Until now. The path to the Blues rebrand had a few steps. First came in 2017, when the Blues wore vintage jerseys inspired by their first ever jerseys at the 2017 Winter Classic at Busch Stadium. It would be worn 6 times after that. Then came the next step in 2018, when St. Louis made the jersey the brand new alternate exclusively for Saturday home games. Then came the 2022 Winter Classic in Minnesota, where the Blues wore a vintage white version of their first white jersey. That jersey would get a few more appearances. I even got to see it in person one time. Finally in 2024, when the Blues revealed their uniform for the Winter Classic with no year on it. A lot of people hated this jersey, but I loved it. I guess I can see why they hated it due to the familiar vintage white base and heritage blue and gold color scheme, but besides that, I feel the backlash is a bit unnecessary. The jersey is based on a time where jerseys had words on the front, but that's a topic for another day. What also stood out was the blue note on the left shoulder. It was a redesign of the classic heritage note. Something was also up when anytime graphics or merchandise had a blue background for the Blues, the logo was gold, which I thought was odd. Then came the report that the Blues were undergoing a rebrand. Fans continued to speculate. Then one day, the Blues gift shop, STL Authentics, accidentally posted photos of golf shirts and hoodies with a never-before-seen logo. It was that same redesigned heritage note, but with the current color treatments. The post was deleted, but rumors continued to spread. Then, June 20th, the Blues posted on social media a short video of workers taking down the blue note from the locker room. 2 days later, the Blues released another short video of Aesthetics bringing up the rebrand, and a bunch of comments popping up asking about the rebrand, which features yours truly. Both ended with the same words: remixed, remastered, reborn. June 24th. What did it mean? June 24th, we got the answer. The Blues revealed new uniforms based off their original uniforms from 1967. The vintage white was switched to proper white. The road jersey would get a white helmet. And the logo, or should I say logos. The blue note is the same one from the previous Winter Classic. And both jerseys will have the same note, something that hasn't happened since 1998. Originally, it was my main gripe, but the explanation of having one logo for everything instead of different logos for different backgrounds makes sense. Now, why did I say logos when both jerseys have the same logo? Well, the Blues also have a handful of musical-themed alternate logos. The other logo that was seen before the rebrand was the STL ligature. For those who don't know, a ligature is 2 or more combined letters. It's very popular in baseball, especially with the other team down Clark Avenue, the Cardinals. What I like about the Blues STL ligature is that it not only is its own symbol, but it's shaped like a treble clef. Speaking of treble clef, the Fleur logo combines the wings of the fleur-de-lis, an iconic St. Louis symbol also featured in Penguin Oak branding, and a treble clef. The river music looks like a trumpet, but when you look at it, it hides the arch and the Mississippi River. Finally, the vinyl record roundel, which spells the name St. Louis Blues, in the shape of a record. I absolutely love this rebrand. My only complaint is why isn't there a shoulder patch logo? They could have made either the STL ligature or the record roundel a shoulder patch, but at least the STL will be featured on the pants. And for those who love the royal blue jersey, it will be sticking around as the third jersey, at least for this season. But we still don't know what this logo is for. Is this for a future alternate jersey? Was this a one-off? Was it a prototype that cleared stages and was set for production? And would the Fleur and River Music logos be featured on a new alternate jersey? We won't know yet. Now let's talk about one team that has been going through an identity crisis. Play Brass Bonanza. The Hurricanes have been experiencing an identity crisis for a while. It started in the 2018-19 season when the Canes unveiled a new black third jersey with the correct version of a Hurricane flag. When the team made the playoffs, they wore the black jersey for all home games. The next year, they released a new road jersey with the word Canes in a stair-step pattern. Then comes where the Hurricanes lose their mind. Starting in 2022, they made the black jersey their primary home and released a throwback to their original red jersey. The NHL also approved wearing colored helmets with white road jerseys. That makes me cringe for some reason. The Hurricanes have swapped red jerseys but kept the same black jersey as the primary jersey. Here's the problem. The Hurricanes have a home jersey with a completely different logo that they don't even use on graphics. The road jersey is okay, but it doesn't match the home jersey. And the red jersey is just there. Now there's reports that the Hurricanes are making a new road jersey similar to their Stadium Series jersey. If the Hurricanes were smart, they would make a white version of the Hurricane flag jersey. Maybe that's why the Hurricanes haven't won a cup in this window. Do the right thing, Hurricanes. Make a white Storm flag jersey. So to finish this video, it's time to ask, what's next? Which team or teams will be rebranding next? Will be the Vancouver Canucks shifting from the Orca to the Skate? Will the Minnesota Wild change their primary color scheme from forest green and red to North Stars green and gold? Will the Winnipeg Jets embrace their history and move to the WHA uniforms like everyone has been asking them to? Will the Hurricanes ever pick a brand and stick with it? We'll find out at some point. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, comment, and share this video with others. If you have ideas, put them in the suggestion box below. I'll see you in the next video.